pure love and the bliss of pure love with relationship to God, that is eternal. And you'll always be happy.
What if God lets you down? So, duplicity.
Is it possible?
Yeah.
Who says we?
Sickness, wars, disaster.
Yes. So therefore we'll describe that. This is God's fault or karma?
God.
Why is it God's fault?
My opinion. Because He's in charge of it.
But your opinion based on what?
My perception.
So your perception is coming from where?
From my...
So no problem. It's fine. It's a very good question. But why we speak, there's millions of minds and millions of ideas. But what is the authority behind it?
Therefore, if something bad happens, because of Him.
Why?
Because He's in charge of everything. If something happens, He did it.
So if your son or daughter does something bad, it's your fault. If your son murders someone, your son goes to jail or you go to jail? Who goes to jail?
My son goes to jail, but there is my fault as well. Sure.
Yes, but despite your good training, despite your love and affection, despite everything you did right, if your son does something very bad, like murder someone, he goes to jail, not you.
Yeah, but it's still...
Okay, so...
Okay, I don't want to...
No problem, it's a very good point. But we say, why I'm mentioning is perception, opinion, is not Sastra. It's not necessarily the absolute truth. I'm not speaking according to my opinion or my perception.
So how do you know what comes from God and from what doesn't?
There's pure knowledge. This is Sharanagati, huh? What do you say?
Everything comes from God.
Therefore, who is at fault?
Okay, so this is the process of spiritual life developing, means understanding pure knowledge. It said pure knowledge destroys all suffering. So do you want pure knowledge? Is your mind, do you have self-realization? Are you self-realized?
No.
Okay, so do you want pure knowledge? Are you open to pure knowledge? When you become open to pure knowledge, then you can receive it. Otherwise, if the door is closed, nothing can come in. So first you open your mind. In the 4th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, pure knowledge destroys all illusion and all suffering. All right? Your body is your soul or not?
No.
What is your soul?
Supposedly given from God.
No, but what is it?
I have no idea.
So you don't have pure knowledge. Do you want pure knowledge?
Doesn't everybody?
I don't know. You tell me. If everyone wanted pure knowledge, they could get it. You get what you want.
Through us?
You get according to your purity of desire and your intention. It will come. There is the law of karma. As you sow, so shall you reap. This is what the Bible says. As you sow, so shall you reap. If you plant a thorn tree, and then later you step on the thorn, who planted the thorn tree?
But you're familiar with the saying that the road to...
Hell is paved with good intentions, yes. But that wasn't God's road, that's your road.
Yeah.
God made that road. God didn't make that road, you made that road. God made the stairway to heaven, but that is very narrow path. Said, the road, pathway to God, not many people follow it. The road to hell is very wide. But karma basically means if you want to know pure knowledge, then you have to become a student and open yourself up to the realm of pure knowledge. You're inquiring. That means you have the question, then you can receive the answer. Right?
You never receive answers. That's the problem.
You never receive answer.
From
So what? This is not exactly what we're talking about this topic, but it's a good topic. Sastra says that God is in his own realm, right? His own reality. But he is also participating in this reality, yes. Soul is part and parcel of God. Now the question is, why are we here and not with God? Or how can we see him everywhere?
It's his fault again.
So his fault, on what basis?
We didn't ask to be born. We didn't create it ourselves. Somebody did it for us. Somebody
Yes,
threw us here.
The scripture says the soul is eternal. It was never born. It's eternally born. The soul is by nature blissful. But yet we are suffering by our own misdeeds, our own karma, cycle of samsara. We are weaving our own web. A spider makes its own web. Each Atma is making its own web. Why? The aversion to relationship with God. If you want to be blissful, relationship with God is available. But in the West, we don't believe in, generally we don't believe in the concept of reincarnation and these Vedic truths. Say, oh, why is it, war and this and that? Certainly there was something that was done that is coming back in return. Like I mentioned, God made everyone.
So you don't see it as a fact that the human nature creates it, and who creates human nature? God?
No, why does God create human nature?
Human nature
It's eternally existing. The soul, no one creates human beings. It's eternal. The soul is eternal. Krishna says in the beginning, that's why I'm telling you, pure knowledge. You're never created. You've always existed.
Greed, delusion, hatred, where does it come from? It's all in us.
Yes.
conditioning.
It's conditioning. It's a covering.
Conditioning.
It's a conditioning. In the beginning of Gita, Arjuna is lamenting in the battlefield. Why is there this war going to happen? Is it God's fault? Krishna tried to stop the war so many different ways. He tried to reconcile everything. They didn't want reconciliation, so they fought. But it's weakness to blame. It's victim mentality to blame God. Right? I am responsible for my own actions.
Then I am equal to God?
No, you are responsible for your actions. You are part and parcel of God. Vibhinangsa tattva. You come from God. You are eternal. In the beginning of Gita, Krishna says, never was there a time when you did not exist, nor I, nor all these kings. Never shall we cease to be. Take responsibility. And realize that what you are experiencing with this body is not true experience. It's the next lesson in the Gita. Second lesson in the Gita is this. Yainem veti hantaram yaschainam manyate hatam bhavata na vijanito nayang hanti na hanyate. What I'm teaching you is not my opinion. I'm teaching you age-old wisdom that is recognized by... It's okay, I'm speaking like as if from authority, but our process of spiritual knowledge is descending. We don't waste time in argument. Tarko na pratishtanat. Truth isn't established by logic and argument. Why? I can argue one thing and then another day a better logician can come. Sastra, pure scripture, is giving descending knowledge, the nature of God. Logic is okay, but it's not the highest authority, the highest evidence.
This is tried and tested knowledge.
Bhagavad Gita.
Logic is everything.
No, it's not.
No, it's not. In the mundane world, yes.
For me it is.
But is it improving your life?
It makes you understand
Understand what?
better what's going on. Logic.
No.
Why
What are you
then?
understanding?
Even your concept that God is love seems, not only yours, in every religion,
Yeah.
seems illogical to me.
God is everything.
See?
But God is love. Love is God.
Then where evil comes from?
Evil comes from
God.
no.
Because God creates evil.
No.
God created everything.
God
He created evil.
Everything is part and parcel of God. I'll tell you, if you want the question, the answer to evil, you want the answer to evil?
Yep.
Why is there evil? Okay.
What is it?
First I'll explain, okay? We don't say in Christianity and Zoroastrianism, they say there's dual powers, good and evil. We don't believe that. Yes, there's material duality that you're suffering in, samsara. The root cause of that samsara is because anadi bahirmukh. Personal responsibility means that I have turned away from righteousness and dharma. I have caused harm to others. I have caused violence. Have you ever eaten meat in your life?
In a previous life?
Have you eaten meat in this life?
Yes, I have.
So why does God say, thou shalt not kill? So you're causing violence, so you'll suffer. It's the law of karma. So, Okay, God made me like that. No. The Bible says don't. He said, I've given you the herb, I've given you the plant. Why are you eating cows?
Or any other.
Cow is the body of all the demigods or any animal. But no problem. I'm not saying this is immoral, moral. This is in the state of ignorance.
But I didn't kill anybody.
No,
You
but
ate them.
You're perpetuating that cycle of killing. If
But
nobody
not a
eats,
human being.
if no, why? Life is life.
If an animal is alive or not.
Yes.
Animal has children. Animal has emotion. You can go and look at a horse and see horses playing and animals and chickens playing, and they have life, they have emotion, they have experience. And then you put them in a slaughterhouse. We say all the wars in the world, if the slaughterhouse industry stopped, the wars would stop. You want to see hell? Watch videos of slaughterhouses.
Oh no,
You want to see hell?
I would not survive that.
That's hell. And that's all souls that are being punished by who? Is that God's fault? We create our own hell. God doesn't create it. It's eternally existing. We've turned... No. God didn't create us. We're eternal. This is knowledge. God didn't create us.
Who creates that?
What came first, chicken or the egg?
I have no idea.
Both.
Chicken.
Both. Both are eternal.
It has nothing to do with the God?
God is eternal, you are eternal. Both are eternal. This is the first lesson in the Gita. First lesson in the Gita, the soul cannot be born or die.
But doesn't make any sense.
The body is not the soul. You accepted that. Is the body the soul?
No.
So what is the soul? You don't know.
But what is the body?
The body is
I haven't
material.
created my body.
The body is, it said, Dehinosmin yata dehi komaram yovanam jarat tata dehantara praptirthis tatra namuyati. The body is born. It grows. It gives some byproducts. It maintains for some time. It decays, it dies, then a new body is born. The body is a cycle of karma, but the body, within the body is the soul as long as you're conditioned.
But who created body?
The body is also this system, karma. In Bhagavad Gita, there's 5 topics. I'm not speaking from and it's a very good conversation, so I don't want to speak in a heated way. 5 topics in the Bhagavad Gita. All nitya, all eternal. The soul, God, nature, right? Time and karma. Karma means reaction, action and reaction, right?
The word is evil.
In action and reaction.
Action and reaction.
So karma is evil.
No, karma is your action and your reaction to a particular action. If nobody eats meat, there will be no slaughterhouses.
Brenda said if you stop somebody today, they'll stop you back. This is karma.
Somehow or other it will return to you. So I'm trying to explain to you. The soul is now conditioned by its own choice. We believe in choice. God has given us what? Not given, but part of our nature because we are part of the essence of God. Krishna says in the Gita, Mamai Vangso, you are my part and parcel. Right?
Free will.
The soul is part of the nature of God.
Okay.
Okay, so look at the sun and look at a particle of light. You are the particle of light coming from the sun. God is the sun, you are the particle of light. When was the particle of light born? The particle of light and the sun, what are they? They're the same essence. Satchidananda. The soul is Satchidananda, eternally existing, conscious, and trying to taste happiness. So the fact that you're saying, why is there evil, means you're looking for happiness. You wouldn't conceive of the concept of good and bad. What does it mean to you, evil? Evil means pain and suffering. Right? How do you define evil? Oh, I'm in hell burning, I'm suffering. So you define evil as suffering and pain. And goodness as happiness. And we're saying go towards real happiness. But your happiness at the expense of others, that is evil. So you're eating a hamburger and you're happy eating that hamburger. But who suffered because of that?
An animal.
So that's evil. You are perpetuating evil, not God. God doesn't eat hamburgers. You see God's world, tell me in the Bible where it says God has a McDonald's.
But why did I choose the hamburger? Because God created me.
No, God didn't create you, that's your mind.
That's your mind.
So who created my mind?
God didn't create your mind.
Everything comes from God.
No. Everything's part of God.
Exactly. So,
Part of God, created by God, is different.
but I'm not my own demigod.
You're not your own demigod, you're part of spirit. Spirit is eternal. Matter is eternal. Einstein, all the physicists say, you cannot destroy matter.
You cannot destroy energy.
Only transforms.
Yes. Energy
And what is EMC squared? Einstein teaches, it's all energy. Potential or kinetic, everything is energy. You can't create, you can't destroy. So if you can't create or destroy matter, how are you going to create or destroy the soul? Soul is part of God, not made by God. So your happiness at the expense of others' suffering creates evil. So now I'll tell you how to get rid of it. Okay? Tatenu kampam sushamikshmana bhunjana evatma kritatmapakam hridvagva purvir vidadan namaste jiveti yo mukti padesavayabak. You want mukti, liberation from suffering? Stop harming others. Right? No hingsa, no violence. We have 4 pillars of our teaching. Know and love God. Serve others and love and serve God, and don't cause harm to others. Don't hurt animals and kill and cause pain. Don't exploit. There's many forms of violence. The principle of evil is the principle of causing suffering to others. Why? That's how you define evil. Right? Killing a baby. This is evil. Why? You're destroying its life, causing it pain and suffering. This is evil. So first, if you want to find evil outside, look within. You can't find evil outside. Dostoevsky says, the line between good and evil runs through every human heart. You want to find good and evil? Look inside, look in the mirror. You are your own devil. And you are your own angel. But exorcism means remove the devil and become the angel. Stop causing suffering to others, then you won't suffer. Simple. Simple equation. Stop causing suffering to others, then you won't suffer. This means to be enlightened. Right? What to speak of not causing suffering to others, you should cause happiness to others without desiring happiness for yourself. The soul is eternal, part and parcel of God. Simultaneously one with and different. Eternal servant of God. God is love, love is God. God didn't create evil. We create evil. Because we cause suffering to others. Therefore we're in this world that we've designed and built.
That was Christian thing also. That we create evil.
What I'm saying is we can also create we can also get out of it. The way is this. You could say, why then does God allow it?
Thank you.
Why does God allow it? Because our nature is that we have free will. Otherwise, we wouldn't be conscious. We'd be rocks and stone.
Did you really believe in free will?
Okay, this is a long philosophical argument, but the answer is yes. If we are souls and not robots, then we have free will. You said you're not the body.
I'm both?
Okay, but your soul is not the body.
No.
So then you mean you have
According
free...
to you. And
No, I'm asking you.
I have no idea.
So exactly, but you started out by saying you know everything.
No?
You said, this is my opinion, this is my perception,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So I'm telling you, I'm giving you knowledge or ideas, okay? But the basic matter is, you're saying we don't have free will. If you have consciousness, you have free will. Consciousness means free will.
You choose not to do something because you understand that it causes or perpetuates
But
hatred,
don't you
evil.
understand?
Without consciousness, if you're
you
just a
have free
body,
will, that means you are just as
you're saying you don't have free will or you do have free will?
powerful as God.
No, it doesn't.
No, you do not.
It's limited.
You do not have free will.
Okay, can you
Every-
feel my pain? You cannot. Can you feel the pain of
If
this
you don't have free will, then you don't exist as a soul. You're just a rock. You're just a rock. Are you alive? You're looking, you're breathing. This is actual knowledge. Without free will,
It's conditional. Everything is
yes,
conditional.
right.
So it is not
Good.
a free will. It's
No, it is. It is. You live in America. You can go to New Orleans, you can go to New York, you can go to Mexico, and you can go to India, but you have to get a passport and a visa. You have free will to go to India, but you have to follow the process, right? You can't say, oh, I'm just going to be king of the world. And I don't have free will because I'm not king of the world right now. How to become king of the world? There's a process. You can follow yoga and achieve perfections and become king and be worshipped. You can do mystic, right? He can teach you. You want to learn Ashtanga yoga, how to become godly. You can become, this life or the next, godly being. But you have to follow the process. You want to go to India? I'm going to go to India. Because you can say, I want to be in India, but I'm not in India right now, so I don't have free will. How to get to India? How do you get on a plane? Buy the ticket. You don't have money? Make money. How are you going to get to India? You don't have free will? Go to India. I can go to India. He can go to India.
But why do you want to go to India? Because it's conditioned.
Because you have free will, you want to go.
No, because of the previous.
Yes. So how do we wind up the cycle of samsara?
Huh?
I'm telling you, how do you wind up the cycle of karma and vikarma? The reality is, you're not really acting by your free will, but you have it. You're not acting by your free will. You're only in the cycle of action and reaction, samsara chakra. Bhagavad Gita says you're bound on the machine of material nature. Why? Because you've become conditioned. You are a conditioned soul, so therefore your free will is very minimal. But when you become liberated, your free will becomes all expansive. So how to get liberation? That is the question. Mukti. How to get mukti? First, stop causing harm and accept the residual effects of your past karmas. Whatever is coming to you, accept. Not blaming God and others. Oh, this person hit me and so this person is evil. No. This is a purification process. It's very difficult to accept, but the idea is that, I'll give you one example. Imagine the case. It's only 7:30, it's not too bad yet. It's starting to get dark earlier, yeah? A little bit. Imagine the case, right? Say you have someone you really love. And they're dying of gangrene. You have to cut off their arm or their legs and cripple them. Will you do it? If it's going to save their life and you love them, will you cut off their leg?
Yes.
Right? So sometimes you have to give someone pain to save them. Right or wrong?
Right.
Sometimes you have to cause someone pain in order to save them. So, action and reaction in the cycle of samsara, because we are habituated, we are first avidya. We choose ignorance. What is ignorance? There's 4 anarthas, 4 obstacles keeping us away from enlightenment and relation with God and bliss. First obstacle, mistaken identity, swarup brahm. We don't know who we are. I don't know who, you know who you are. Spiritually, after you die, where are you going to go? Before you died, who were you? Before you were born, who were you? After you die, who will you be? Do you know it? You don't know. So therefore, you don't know who you are. But that root of ignorance is turning away from God.
But I haven't turned away from anyone.
How do you know?
Conscious.
Who were you before this life? And go back 1,000,000 lifetimes and 1,000,000 lifetimes before that. At a certain point, we turn away from God. At every moment, we take the choice. Tatashta Shakti means we're in the borderland, the line between matter and spirit. Tatashta, that's the soul in this present condition. The soul is described to be Tatashta Shakti, the potency in the marginal line. But every moment, you have a choice to turn to God or to be away from God. How do you turn to God?
According to you?
No, according to any religion. So do you love God? No.
I don't.
Yeah, okay, no problem. There's no shame in it.
Honestly.
Yeah, that's fine. There's no shame in it because you've suffered a lot in this life. So that's fine. It's hard to love someone, but you know, it's said there's a something I'll tell you, a secret to liberation. You want liberation from suffering? You want to be blissful? Even if you're angry at God, think of God. Even with anger, no problem. God doesn't see friend and enemy. If you think of him, you become like him. Iron in a fire, whether the iron is angry at the fire or loves the fire, it becomes like the fire. So turn towards God even with anger. If you focus your mind and heart the rest of your life, God, 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 you'll be liberated. Why? Many demons were always thinking of God with great anger. They achieved liberation. But ultimately, our process, the better process is through love. because that gives you a loving relationship with God. Through anger, through lust, through enmity, through hatred to God, you can achieve liberation. This is said in the Shastra, in the scriptures. Even if you're angry at God, but you're always absorbed, still your consciousness turned towards God, then you can become free from conditioning and be liberated. But you are right. You have free will. If you didn't have free will, you wouldn't have consciousness. You'd just be a rock. So material scientists, ultimately they follow a deterministic belief system that we're all, body and mind is all one and we're all just robots. So therefore, I can kill anyone. Why should I go to jail? If I believe in mundane science, if I believe in material science, that means there's no free will. Then why should I go to jail for killing someone? Because our legal system is based on belief in God. It's based on the Judeo-Christian system in the West, which is based on the idea of spirit within man is divine. The only problem is that in the early church, they taught reincarnation, they taught vegetarianism, but it was taken out because most people weren't ready for it. No problem. It's okay. But now your suffering is your own reaction. So, to save you, sometimes your arm and your leg has to get cut off. You stub your toe, you hit your head, you suffer. But if you're going towards God, you'll be saved through that. So sometimes the things God puts in our path, like now you're here at the ashram, you've suffered a lot. But if you turn towards God and you embrace that past suffering without hating God for it, you can realize a relationship of love. Or you can achieve liberation at least. Liberation and relationship with God is different. Liberation is easy. Krishna says, Bhukti Mukti Diya. I will easily give you liberation. I will not let you be my own associate so easily.
What is this liberation?
Liberation means no suffering.
So how do you achieve that?
You go beyond this world of samsara, material life. You practice spiritual life. He can teach you what is liberation and make you liberated. But do you want it? Or you only want to complain? If you really want liberation, you can get it in this life. But you have to follow the science of self-realization. We'll give you, Vrindavan, you can give her a book. The science of self-realization. You want it, you can have it. Anything you want, you can have because you have free will. If you want to go to India, we can arrange you to go to India in a few weeks. But you don't really want to, so don't complain, it's not free will. If you want liberation, you can have it. But do you want it or you only want to suffer?
What?
I'm telling you, I'll give you a book.
I cannot argue with the book.
The book is better. Discuss with me. This is very good. Very good.
I love this point.
Yes, so good. You know what Israel means? Wrestling with God. Right? So that is what we're doing. Wrestling with God. No problem. Even you don't love God, but you have some belief in God. That's your good quality. Most people don't even believe in God. So good. It's goodness. Arguing is good. Right? This is how we do it. Those who can argue, we become very strong. So arguing is good. No problem. What I'm telling you is that the reason I'm telling you about a book is because if you follow, I can't, you come tomorrow morning and then come tomorrow evening and in a few days we can discuss it all. I can give you the whole process. But also it's good to study.
No, but I read the books.
What book?
A lot of books.
Okay, no problem. So it's better. That's why you're here. That's why you're here. You're here to argue with me. This is your process of self-realization. Good. But liberation means cessation of all suffering. First stage of liberation.
And you really believe
Higher.
it's possible?
Yes,
100%.
I know it's possible.
100%.
Even in this life. Jivan Mukta, you can become liberated. No suffering. And you can transcend heaven and hell and all these things.
By
But,
acceptance?
huh?
By acceptance?
By understanding.
First of all, knowledge destroys all suffering. So knowledge means first open the door to knowledge. Arguing is a good start. Atato brahma jigyasaha. Spiritual life begins with inquiry. So your spiritual life has begun. You're asking questions. Good. Your spiritual life has begun. But you have to be open to possibility. Student means I'm here to learn. If you're not here to learn, you won't learn because you have free will. Your free will starts to get activated when you start to get liberated. Why? The closer you get to liberation, the more your free will is activated. Otherwise, you're just conditioned like animals. Christians say animals don't have souls. But what they don't understand is that animals are just more conditioned than humans. So they're just reacting from the cycles of previous karma. Therefore, for a tiger to eat a dog or a lamb or a chicken or whatever, you don't put the tiger in prison because it didn't have higher reason. It didn't have free will. It's just following its cycle of karma. Humans have free will. That's why we're closer to liberation. Closer to liberation than animals. We have free will.
If God is so kind, why doesn't He create us in this liberation? Why
Because that would be without free will then. He would have to take away your free will.
Fine with me.
Okay.
But that's not how the clock works.
Surrender there.
That I understand the point. I understand. But if God forced you to love Him, it wouldn't be love.
But is it love to make us suffer
No,
so much?
He didn't make you suffer. He didn't. First, acceptance means accepting the own reactions. Even if you don't, ontological source of it all, you can blame God. But in this life, don't blame God. The law of karma means if I cause pain to others, that pain will come back to me. That is a law. If I kill someone, I will kill. You know what? Our Gurudev would say this 1,000 times. In Sanskrit, the word for meat is mas. Mangsa is in Sanskrit, but they say like mas, Hindi. Mangsa, Sanskrit means what? Mangsa sa mang. What I eat will eat me. Me eat me. But Sanskrit, mangsa sa mang. What I eat will eat me. So we say, not we say, but it is described that even in rituals where they kill goats and things like that, the Brahmin, the priest, will whisper in its ear, I'm killing you now, I accept that you will come and kill me. I will eat your flesh, you will eat my flesh. So that is hell. Reaction for your action. So in this life, those karmas you've accrued, the beauty is that you can rid yourself of those karma. Why? Ek naam kare sarva papanas premera karan. One chanting of the real name of God destroys all sin. And Ankush, the seedling of pure love starts to sprout.
It's like an absolution.
Yes. But we say, if you continue sinning because you can chant and be absolved, then that is sin. So you can be freed of it. That's why there's many stories. There was a hunter. It's a good story. You can do arti if you want, Vrindavan, or you want to do arti? You can go and do arti. Okay, you know all this stuff. It's fun, but you can do arti. Okay, I don't want to make your schedule late. You can sing for yourself. Anyone wants to go can go. It's a nice discussion though. Okay, there was a hunter. And there was a great sage like Kanav. Wandering in the forest. Right? Rishi. His name is Kanav Rishi. So there's a great Rishi, the head of all Rishis. Right? The grandsire of all sages, Narad Rishi. He was walking in the forest like this. And he started seeing animals that were writhing in pain. They had an arrow in their body. They weren't killed, but they were suffering. And he saw one after another, all deer and rabbits and squirrels, writhing in agony, birds. He thought, who is doing this violent act? If you're going to be a hunter, at least just kill them and then eat them. Why are you causing them unnecessary suffering? Right? Our human life is to give happiness, not to give suffering to others. That is also the path to liberation, but it's also the path to continuing the cycle of karma, samsara. Right? Because Jarananda is also suffering. Right? So what does it mean to really give people happiness? It means to give them mukti. And beyond mukti, premananda, as we discussed. So, he found a hunter, and he said, why are you doing this? Just kill them and eat them. I enjoy giving them this suffering.
Like serial killers.
He said, I enjoy giving them this suffering. The root of this is antagonism towards God. He said, theists make the best demons. But not devotees. They believe in God, but they hate God. So you can imagine your life, if your anger gets so great that you see you're suffering. But some people who do murder, mass murder and things like that, they hate God so much, they're trying to defy creation existence.
Sometimes
They write it.
Kill for God. Look at all those Christianity, how it was,
Yeah, this is true.
the God with us.
That's why I said most demons are theists. The worst demons are those who believe in God. But the best people are also those who believe in God. So belief in God isn't enough. Become a devotee, a lover of God. And how do you be a lover of God? Love all beings. Don't cause harm to anyone. Then you can say, I love God. You can show it, not pretend it and speak it. Show your love by not hurting others. Yes, I agree. Many people who believe God do great sinful activities. That's not God. God's created the law. If you don't follow the law, it's not His fault. He said, don't kill. Don't commit adultery. Don't do this. Don't do that.
But
Right?
He
God
doesn't
gave the
stop
law
you
to
from-
Moses.
He
He
doesn't,
doesn't stop you from
he
killing.
doesn't stop you from
Then it would
killing.
be taking away your free will.
There's a free will. And that's
So if you want to be a rock, that's one kind of mukti. One kind of liberation is I just want to be a rock. And you can achieve that. I can be a crystal. I can be a diamond. I can live for billions of years without suffering. But you'll lose your consciousness. You'll be like inert, Judd. So anyhow, in essence, the hunter said, oh, I enjoy giving them suffering. So he said, you should stop doing this. You know why? He gave him divya drishti, divine vision. Why the great sages have that power. He said, look in the sky. All the bodies of the animals you've ever killed are waiting to come and kill you. One after another, after another, after another. You causing pain to others, whether it's right or wrong, right? Two wrongs don't make a right. So you can blame, oh, someone did something wrong and it started somewhere, but you hurting others, you cannot justify it on another's action. You can't place your sinful activity upon someone else as the perpetrator. It's not someone else's fault. It's not someone else's fault. But yet, Krishna says in the Gita, those who think I'm a killer, those who think I'm slain are both in ignorance. Yainam veti hantaram yaschayna manyate hatam ubautam navijanito nayang hanti na hanyate. The soul is neither killer nor killed. So your soul never has killed anyone, never has been killed by anyone. So how do you realize your soul?